Hello everyone, meet you again. Today I'd like to continue talking about English prepositions. On my previous video, I discussed the prepositions in, on, and at. We have learned to use those prepositions in relations to time and place. Today, I will be talking about some other prepositions such as to, with, and of. Interestingly, before using those prepositions in a sentence, we have to be fully aware of certain words, that is nouns, that come before them. Short speaking, certain nouns should be followed by certain prepositions. How does it look like? Let's get started. Now look at the picture. In the picture you can read a sentence. She has some trouble, blah blah blah, her car. So which prepositions do you use? At, to, on, or with? Yes, the answer is with. She has some trouble with her car. So why is it with? That's confusing. Okay, don't worry about it. We will be discussing this problem. Now let's continue. Let's talk about the prepositions by. This preposition refers to something expressing causality or authorship. For example, I broke the vase by mistake. The opera Othello is by Giuseppe Verdi. Let's talk about the prepositions for. We use the prepositions for when we want to indicate an objective. For example, let's go for a walk. We went for a swim as soon as we arrived. Would you like to come over for a drink? So we use the preposition for because we intend to convey the objective. For a walk, for a swim, and for a drink. Now let's talk about the prepositions in. This preposition expresses a conditional state of being. For example, I fell in love with my wife at first sight. Call me in case he needs some help tomorrow. Now let's talk about the preposition on. Use this preposition to indicate a state of being or an intention. For examples like, help, the house is on fire. I really need to go on a diet. He went away this weekend on business. Okay, now let's talk about of. The prepositions of is used to express causality or the relationship between subjects. For examples like, she is the cause of all his problems. He took a photograph of the mountains. This preposition indicates the recipient of an action. It can also indicate destination. For example, I did a lot of damage to my car the other day. We were invited to their wedding. Okay, now let's talk next prepositions with. Use this preposition to describe relationships or a connection. For example, my friendship with Mary is wonderful. Have you had any contact with Sarah? Now, let's do some exercises. Look at sentence 1. Mr. Smith is a great example, blah blah blah, courage. What would be the correct preposition? Number 2. I couldn't find an answer, blah blah blah, your question. Which preposition are you going to use? On, to, or at? Next. He has a great interest, blah blah blah, science. Which prepositions then? The last question. Massive storm caused huge damage, blah blah blah, the city. Alright, now let's discuss the answers. to those questions. So number one, Mr. Smith is a great example. The right preposition would be of courage. And for number two, I couldn't find an answer. The right preposition is to your questions. Next, he has a great interest in science. And the last one, massive storm caused huge damage to the city. All right, so we have discussed these questions together and you know the answers now. So students, sometimes it's kind of hard to understand which preposition we have to select when we have nouns like what we have discussed so far. However, this is sort of the picture where some preposition you can make use of when there are some nouns you encounter in a sentence. For examples like of, there would be nouns like memory, and then you have to put of after that, or method of, a cause of, habit of, and then knowledge of. You can finish reading this until the last word, that is love of. Okay, so from memory of to love of, those are the examples where the prepositions of is used. And in the same way, we also have for, and for will follow certain nouns like bid for, search for, checks for, until hatred for. Those nouns should be followed by the prepositions for. Okay, and then to. And prepositions to should follow certain nouns from damage to dedications. So you have to put damage to and dedications to. What about if? If will follow certain nouns like believe, delay, experience, arise, until success. So you have to read success in. Okay? And with, there are some nouns that should be followed by preposition with, like link, dealings with, concerns with, and connection with. With the preposition at, there are some nouns you have to consider, like attempt at, point at, anger at, age at. And the last preposition, certain nouns like informations on, report on, ban on, debate on, decisions on. Okay guys, I do hope that this short explanation will be helpful for you to learn about the English preposition. Thank you very much for watching.